Welcome back to another video. So, Hypervolt today, as you can see, which is on the floor behind me. This is a whole new estate that's the other side of Stafford, and this is a job that me and Matt were meant to be doing together. But Matt's been called on to another one. Matt asked for me specifically because the customers are very particular that they want things done in a straight line, nice and tidy, and Matt went, I know the right guy to call, me. So what we've got here is absolutely gorgeous new build property. Is all like, not heritage land, protected land for the wildlife we've got around. We've got the meter cab on the far side of the building, unfortunately. Just around this corner here, backs onto the back of the fuse board. So we're gonna come from the back of that, directly up in Ultra EV, through the soffits, coming all the way across the loft, through the rafters, taking this drain pipe off, gonna clip behind the drain pipe, drill through this wall on an angle and up to the Hypervolt. So I've got to do this all by myself, but that's not a problem. Customer's just making me a brew. I'm just doing the setup of what we want. We've got the table, getting drills, charging some batteries. First things first, gonna get the ladders up and off the roof, because where I'm gonna be drilling into the soffit, I wanna make sure that I got access through to the loft to pull rods and then pull a cable up eventually. We're gonna be using the, that's bright, we're gonna be using the spit nail gun to do some fixings, to do some cable ties, to bring the cable up out the way of the loft insulation, across the rafters and back down. So the main part of this video is the huge cable run. We've got a split load board, Hager with surge. We're going to be putting it on with the RCD currently. I think next month or the end of this month possibly, there is a Tesla Powerwall going in, which myself and Matt are doing. So it's within the price to change the split load board, change the gubbins to make it an RCBO board, so it'll have its own breaker and its own RCD, let's say. So that's where that's going with that. Hi. Is it me, or are they meant to be sealed? Will the home inspection guy turn around and go, because that one's got a brick, but that's literally the loft insulation. Oh well, saves me having to drill it all. So what we're going to do, obviously when I'm bringing this down, to hide it as best as possible, we have got some gaps, which is perfect size for the cable to come down. So I'm going to try and unscrew this. I'm just going to double check before I go and drill loads of holes that this is actually level. So I'm going to go around with a pencil and mark the inside of each bracket to make sure that when I put the laser down, it's within the mortar, exactly in the same line, exactly where we want to go. Right, I was about to get the, obviously the little beautiful camera footage, whatever, of me putting the drill bit in the hoover. And I was about to go and start marking everything up. But I think what's best is if I take this ladder to the other side, exactly what's going up, stick a rod up. So the customer said to me, I said to him about the soffits aren't right and this, that and the other, from what I can see, isn't right. He said he's aware of, apparently this is some type of new build loft, not a dry loft, but it's to aerate. So instead of having grills everywhere, it's for a flow of air to go around. And the green stuff isn't loft insulation, it's bird and bug protection, which makes me pushing the rod up. I got like I don't know, half a rod up, which makes me think if there is a barrier, then one, I'm going to damage it by jamming a rod through if it's just a bag, but there is someone coming to come and fix all this sort of stuff. They're not having soffits, but all the green bags you can see are all being pushed with up into the eaves sort of thing. So that's the reason for that. It just doesn't look great, especially from down here. Look it up and you know it's there now. You can just see green bags hanging out. I can take the ladder round to the other side, see if I can stick a rod up, and then I'm going to jump up in the loft with a Unilight, visually see, because obviously we've got two lofts. So I'm going to be, the loft hatch is in the corner between the two, and then it's actually, annoyingly, it's in the office where they're actually working from home. So I'll get some footage, but obviously they're busy, it's their job, I'm not going to get in the way of that. To see if what we can see, what runs we've got. I'm going to use the spit nail gun and the saddles, the cleats. I used them at my brother's house and we cable tied it up out the way and it worked really, really well. But some of the fixings that I couldn't nail when I did it at my brother's, I literally just put a wood screw through it. So it's depending on how I'm feeling at the time, whether or not I could be asked to lug up screws and the combi or a really heavy nail gun. I think I just answered the question for myself, to be honest. But anyway, right, let's jump around the other side and we'll go up in the loft. So this is the back end of the fuse board. You got the internet and some satellite stuff. So what I want to do as well is we're going to do a drip loop. You can see my hello. We're going to bring the cable down. We're going to bring it back up, and we're going to drill it through up at an angle. It's going to come through on the internal wall, and then it's going to land into the bottom of the fuse board. I don't want to do rear entry of the board. I don't know as and where all the hundreds of cables come from, as well as the tails, because that's the meter cab. So we're going to try and do it, link it up that way. But then we need to think as well, if we're having the power wall, there also needs to be a cable from here, or unless it's a separate board from there, I don't know the specs of the job, but that board is being converted into an RCBO one, another cable that goes all the way up and over to the power wall. So, I can see why they want to live here. Look at that. Right, I've got to be fairly quiet. I'll turn the audio up because, like I said, they're working from home and he's in a meeting. So I've got both uni lights up. There's loads of room. There's loads of insulation because it's a new build, but it's a timber and brick one, which you can see from the gable end. Technically my rod should be there, but I chucked up on the M1, so it might be within the timber frame bit. I'll have a look. And if you're not already convinced with these uni lights, with that one's got the Milwaukee one in, the one over there has got the Bosch one in with a hook. I'm going to leave this here when I come back to it. I'm going to turn this one off for now, walk back, and then I've got both my areas lit when I'm on where the two or the L shape of the loft meets. So I don't need Adam with me. It's down there. I brought it through in the corner. I just don't quite want to climb all the way through yet. If I don't have to. Look how long this loft is. All the bodies you could find. I found my rod. Cable's there. So this cross member here, I'm going to do 2 runs of clips. It's going to come up here, bend down. Ooh, drop my camera. Across this track. We'll have to just go over the flyover, we can dip it down. I'll take it. I'm going to do 2 clips all the way down in preparation for the Powerball while I'm up here, and I'm potentially going to put a fish cable from this side so we can pull up and that way. Well, I've just rejigged this. This is what we've got. Normally you've got a nipple bit that you put the nail gun on and it shoots it through, but for wood you can do the same thing. So I'm going to prep some of these. I've just put them in 2 piles. I don't know what happened to my voice then, but I've only got 12 of each. So I'm going to do them 500 apart, do 1 run, see what I've got left. If I've got any left, then potentially, but I've got hundreds of these in the unit, but I'm not that close to go and get them and waste time. Prep them up here. I'm going to do a mixture of plastic cable ties, and just to stop anyone online saying stuff, a couple of metal ties every 3rd one or whatever. We prep all this. I've prepped everything I can. I've emptied my pockets of things I don't need. We've got the pads with the screws, we've got some metal cable ties, we've got some plastic cable ties. We have got flush cut, snip things, whatever you want to call it. We're going to take the drill up. I've got the tape measure and I've measured from the soffit all the way down the wall to come through the wall and to go up, and that is 7 meters, and I will not forget that because it's there. That means once I've pushed 7 meters through, I can then cable tie everything back, push it back down, and don't have to go in the loft. I can just do this one time only. I say if I've got more spaces and more stuff to put a second row down, but I'm just trying to think. I have got some white LSF in the van that I don't use. I just use it. I use it for the temp lights, for the Stoke kitchen stuff. I'm very tempted to take that up there as well and just lay that up there, sort of same run. So as and when we come to do this, I mean, I might ring Matt in a minute and just say if there's enough on the drum after we've cut it, because the battery storage and everything, the Tesla one, it should be a 6mm cable and it's going to need internet access, which is an Ultra EV cable. It's got the data in it. I think it's data, or is it 2? Anyway, I can just run that one through as well and just leave it coiled up in the loft. I'll ring him now and see what he says, but it's not part of this job, so I don't know if he wants to save it for another time. Answer phone. Matthew, it was. The Tesla Powerwall, does that also require a 6mm, yes? While I was doing this, I was going to put 2 lots of clips top and bottom throughout the joists, but I'm not sure if I got enough. What I was going to say is, if I've got enough, with the drum that you've brought, and it's going to go down to the same run to the fuse board, but obviously you leave it coiled up, do you want me to pull a second one up and over and cable tie it to with the cable that we're putting in, so the supply there is already there on the edge of the loft for the Powerwall? Okay. Just put on the phone to Matt. He said, yes, great idea. One, if we have enough cable, which I need to double check. But I didn't have to ring the customer because they're in the house. I spoke to the customer to see where the Powerwall is going. Is it going out the back next to the fuse board, or is it going to be by the driveway? We've just had a discussion. It was my house, where would I put it? And I was like, well, one, it looks wicked and I'd like to drive home and see it every day. 2, we have a camera on the garage next to the car. We can keep an eye on it. Around the other side here is an open field and you have no idea. People nicking it, damaging it, whatever. So if I've got enough space to go up, we're going to follow exactly the same run, drop it behind the drain pipe, cable tied to that eventually. But first of all, let's get all this done. I've got my bag of goodies. I've got my micro nice and close so you can also hear me heavy breathing. So yeah. What does that remind you of? Just quick stoppy there. As much as I was going to go, it's pretty much centres, which is just where I've just decided to do it, because I was going to lap up and over onto there. But the issue I have is the screws are protruding. So I could go down and change every single screw to a smaller one, because I don't want someone doing what I had to do, climb through this earlier and take your back out or a chunk of head out. Is I'll just put them across on where the beams are so it can go all the way through. We've got metal ties in like every 3 it is. So I'm going to get a measurement of this now, obviously because I can cut off the drum soon, and see if the other one will go in. But I'm not going to do that till late this afternoon because I am hot and sweaty and hungry, and there's flies up here. Now we've got our wonderful cable down and out, I need to do the height for the hypervolt, which is in and around 120 to 140, which is going over this side. But one thing I am going to do, which I've done a few times, is instead of bringing it around and drilling this and whatever, I'm going to sweep it across and I'm going to drill on the angle into the course of the brick on the mortar to pop out the mortar the other side, so to save us having to do a horrible bend. Obviously this wood's in the way. The further the angle back I can get, the better, but obviously if we go too far at an angle, we're going inside the house, or we don't do the correct angle, we're going to be popping out on the fence, and if we don't get it flat and level, it could be in the mortar here, but then on the other side, it could end up blowing a brick out, which is the last thing we want. So we're going to be using nice small thin drill bits. Once we're through them and I know what I've got, I'll drill it again. And then we do have enough of the other cable, but I'm going to concentrate on all this. But this one's going to come out the highest, hypervolt going on, bring it round, bring it up, get it done. And then I can do exactly the same holes lower down for another 6mm Ultra EV, and then a bit further down for the strings, because obviously we're going to have to bring the strings down, we're going to have to bring the Ultra EV down. That's going to go to the power wall, which is going to sit around there. I'm going to attempt, so bear with me if you know any other better way, or what I've done is wrong, to explain to you with the angles, with the drilling, with the cavity. So I've got a work mat on the floor. We're going to pretend that this corner here, this is our brickwork, looking down from the top of the roof, is this corner. I've measured the cavity, well, the thickness of the wall internally from here, from the outside to the inside, which is sitting at around about 35 centimetres. And we marked it out over there. This mark here, which is 33, is our mark here, which is our line from this distance to this distance of where we want to drill. You can blind drill it, and there is calculations to do, but we have our big square, which is a 45-degree angle or a 90. So if I put that on my mark here, I turn around and hold my drill bit there, and obviously we need to make sure this is right. We are then popping through on a 33 centimetre mark. The other side, it will transform straight across. But what we don't want to do is drill on the angle and accidentally come through in the room of the house. But the cavity between this bit and this bit will be 35 centimetres as well, because it's a square room. So we can work out by that. So if we do 35 there, you can clearly see that I'm going to go through potentially the inner brickwork of the building, but equally nowhere near the surface. It's a way you can do your angles if you've got something that's got more angles on it, but I know if I do 45, I'm going to be fine. If I want to do a steeper one to be on the safe side, I know if I did anything above and beyond 45, there's no way we're going to go on the inside of the building. We're still going to pop out the other side, and the distance from this brickwork to here is more, or greater should I say, than the thickness of this wood, so we're going to miss that as well. So now I've got that angle, and I'm fairly confident that I'm correct in what I'm saying, that's obviously just a little hole for now. We need to open it up with a bigger bit. I can go the other side now to the same measurement using the same angle in reverse back this way for the holes to meet up. So I'm definitely not going to blow any brick out. It's going through the mortar, and this is the first time I'm going to try it. So we'll see if it works. Right, that's worked. So next thing is open it all up with a bigger one, which the cable that is all done and dusted. Up, down, silicone through. I'm not going to put the guttering on, just in case I get time to put another one through, because it isn't going to take long. I kept the hole covered up with the work mat coming through. Matt's on his way back in a little bit, so if I'm running out of time, he's going to do the hypervolt. That's through, ready, linear clipped. Bring the ladders round, drop that down, and let's get it into the fuse board. Whew. Nearly there. Matt's on his way back, even though I said it earlier, and I've just realised that the wide angle lens from the front of my camera, that magnet's on the front, is not there anymore, which means, oh, that's annoying. I couldn't even tell you where it fell off. The last bit I recorded was on the grass. Anyway, so finally I'm getting around to doing the hypervolt, which I've only ever done one, and the last one I ever did was with Corey, and he worked with Jordan, worked for Jordan, should I say, Artisan. This is a Home Pro 3, a Home 3 Pro, which is that one, and they come with a bracket now, so Matt told me earlier, so I can mount this. That slots on, the rubber screw goes in the top. We're going to do bottom entry. We've got our 20mm and 25mm, or up to 32mm for our stuffing gland. So let's get this mounted.
How you getting on, buddy?
Yeah, good. I've got into the fuse board. It's just literally this last bit now.
Yeah.
I'm going to run out of time. I wanted to pull. I've got enough cable to pull through to do the other side, but I've got my daughter's football tonight.
There we go, mate.
Legend. Thank you very much, mate. Oh, yeah, cheers, mate. Oh, is it a fancy one?
It is, yeah. We just...
Cheers, guys. That is on. I've left the data cable as long as I can. I've heat shrink the end twice actually because it was too short, so I put some grey underneath the blue. Gonna get that screwed on, and then I'm gonna jump and put the drain pipe back on, and then once I've done that, Matt should be here and we can commission it. Whether or not I'm gonna get time to do that, you will find out very soon. Love it. Right, Matt's here. I've really got to go because I am going to be late for football. That is on. It's the next day. I filmed a bit. I've not even checked the footage yet. I ended up having to rush home last night because I was extremely cutting it fine for taking my daughter to football. No one cares. Anyway, Matt came last night. There might be some footage of Matt earlier of him turning up, but what I filmed was rushed and pointless to ruin the video for what it is. The charger's been on all night, charging. Matt came last night, commissioned it, set it up. Party mode is on. Good thing about this through the app, you can turn around and change the lights, the colours, the settings. I do think it's absolutely fabulous. I marked with a pencil yesterday to put the holster on this side, changed my mind very quickly to put it over here. We've got our bit through, drilled, silicone, brick dust all on, out the way. Matt did the two final screws, so I've just come here to get my ladders because I had to leave my ladders for Matt. So the last two for the drain pipe have been put on. As you can see, looking straight on it, you cannot see the cable at all, which is exactly the look I was going for. And then what really wasted my time, because yesterday I decided to then run the other cable through quickly, which then made me short on time, hence why I had to rush off. But when we could bring the next 6mm down for the Tesla Powerwall, and then hopefully we're going to, well, I presume Matt's job, we're going to speak to Doncaster Cables, because they do the PV cable. So it looks from the outside like a single core HO7 cable, and you've got strings in it. I don't know if it's a pair of strings with the two, or you can get one that's got four, which has got two pairs in it. We're going to bring them down the same with this, bring them a bit lower from where we drilled through there, go underneath the charger and back around. So that's the plan. I'll just run you around the other side. I'm looking everywhere. I was really hoping to find the magnetic wide angle lens for the camera, but I looked in the loft yesterday, I can't find it. But anyway, I thought that was it, there's a piece of poo, it's fine. What we've got here is cable going round. So this is the big last bit of cable pulling through. It's drilled, drip loop, up, going across. I mean, visually, you can't see how nice that looks because this is flapping around. But that goes up, down, siliconed hole, all that sort of stuff. So this will be a very similar thing. We're going to tuck that on the left-hand side as and when. Same drip loop coming through in and around. So yeah, that's me done. I should have put a coat jack on it. It's freezing, but this is beautiful. Also, that, by the way, if you're wondering, you saw it in the video, that is a newt fence wall. It's a wall technically. It's just a piece of plastic. And it's because this is all protective wildlife. There's loads of newts. I can't say I've ever seen a newt whatsoever, never mind in Stafford, in the UK. But while all this building work's going on, the newts are all protected. So it has a newt wall, but as and when the estate is done and finished, this wall comes out, which is just a protection thing. So obviously, I don't think anyone cares. Right, thanks for watching. Love you, bye.